The Varieties of Religious Experience, Studying Human Nature by William James continues with our starting lectures 11, 12, and 13, Saintliness. The last lecture left us in a state of expectancy. What may the practical fruits for life have been of such movingly happy conversions as those we've heard of? With this question, the really important part of our task opens, for you remember that we began all this empirical inquiry not merely to open a curious chapter in the natural history of human consciousness, but rather to attain a spiritual judgment as to the total value and the positive meaning of all the religious trouble and happiness which we have seen. We must therefore first describe the fruits of the religious life, and then we must judge them. This divides our inquiry into two distinct parts. Let us, without further preamble, proceed to the descriptive task. It ought to be the pleasantest portion of our business in these lectures. Some small pieces of it, it is true, may be painful, or may show human nature in a pathetic light, but it will be mainly pleasant, because the best fruits of religious experience are the best things that history has to show. They have always been esteemed so. Here, if anywhere, is the genuinely strenuous life. And to call to mind a succession of such examples as I have lately had to wander through, though it has been only in the reading of them, is to feel encouraged and uplifted and washed in better moral air. The highest flights of charity, devotion, trust, patience, bravery, to which the wings of human nature have spread themselves, have been flown for religious ideals. I can do no better than quote, as to this, some remarks which Saint Beuve, in his History of Port Royal, makes on the results of conversion are the state of grace. Even from the purely human point of view, Saint Beuve says, the phenomenon of grace must still appear sufficiently extraordinary, eminent and rare, both in its nature and its effects, to deserve a closer study, for the soul arrives thereby at a certain fixed and invincible state, a state which is genuinely heroic, and from out of which the greatest deeds which it ever performs are executed. Through all the different forms of communion and all the diversity of the means which help it to produce this state, whether it be reached by a jubilee or a general confession, by a solitary prayer and effusion, whatever in short be the place and the occasion, it is easy to recognize that it is fundamentally one state in spirit and in fruits, and penetrate a little beneath the diversity of circumstances, and it becomes evident that in Christians of different epochs, it is always one and the same modification by which they are affected. There is veritably a single fundamental and identical spirit of piety and charity, common to those who have received grace, an inner state which before all things is one of love and humility, of infinite confidence in God, and of